Hello, welcome back. IT Performance. I've been having a few thoughts recently just about the state that we are in with IT at the moment. First of all, let's go through the types of people that use IT these days. The first type is the type that should not be using IT. They have absolutely no idea. They're the type of person where when you try to talk them through something step by step, they still get things wrong, still do things out of order. If you have a document which again has all the steps set out step by step, they will miss a step. Then there are the people who think they know what they're doing, but don't. They are the ones that, while you are talking them through something, they jump forward 4 steps. So you get stuck wondering what the hell they're doing when they're doing something you haven't told them to do, so you have to start again. This is especially bad if you're trying to talk them through something over the phone and you can't see their screen. It starts to get a little bit better when people know they don't know what the hell they're doing, but are reasonably competent, and they will do what you ask them to do. They're good. The best ones are the ones that you never ever see, unless there's a hardware fault or a software fault. They're the best ones because you know they're competent, they just get on with what they're doing and they use the computer for what it's used for. Another problem is Microsoft, and I'll get into that a little bit later, and B, Apple. With these devices that are apparently always on, people don't know how to turn things off. They don't know how to use devices. And by devices I mean iPads, tablets, phones, laptops, Chromebooks, PCs, desktops. With this always on mentality, people don't know about power buttons. And every device has one, yes, even the fantastic magical iPad. Now don't get me wrong, the iPad and iPhone, when they first came out, they were wonderful. But a young lad, I work at a high school, and this is a problem. Anyway, I work at a high school, and a young lad came in the other day with a problem, and I said, when was the last time you restarted your laptop, Windows laptop? I don't know how, he said. Now this was a young lad, he would have been about 14. You would expect somebody who's been using a laptop, because they need to have them for school, for at least, let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say it's the first year at school, at least 2 months. Oh, Jesus, cat almost got run over. To be able to at least turn off and reboot a laptop. I don't know how. So I showed him how. It is a problem. Again, with these devices that are apparently always on, and especially with PCs, Windows PCs, the old "have you turned it off and on" actually fixes a lot of problems. It shouldn't, I agree, it shouldn't, but it does. And you can't see my eyes at the moment because I widened them like this. It does. So even with kids who have grown up with IT devices their whole lives, do they have an excuse? Well, in part they do have an excuse, and that's because now Apple isn't so much a problem, but Microsoft is getting worse, because Apple has always dumbed down their operating systems so that users can't get in and fiddle, and so they don't know how to do a lot of things. I mean, hell, when Windows 95 was getting on the internet, now you can fact check this if you like, and I'm not 100% accurate with this, but I'm pretty sure when Windows 95 was getting on the internet with TCP/IP, Apple OS, Mac OS had no idea how to do it. No dial-up, no modems. You had to add the TCP stack to the Mac OS manually. Wasn't part of it. Wasn't built in. And doing stuff like that was decidedly Mac. And the way to do it was decidedly Mac. And not easy unless you absolutely knew how. Because you couldn't get into the back end and add things like that very easily. And this is coming from somebody who is not a Mac OS fan. I'll be honest. Go woman. You had plenty of space. So now you go with a slower space, less of a space, which means I have to wait for longer. Well done, stupid bitch. My rant is going. Where was I? Mac OS. It hasn't changed, but the thing about Mac OS is it hasn't changed. It's still the same interface. Everything's in the same place. The way you get to the settings and where the settings are is in the same place. It functions the same as it did, essentially. Sure, that's added things like the store, but it functions and you get around it and work within it the same way as it did 20, how old am I? 30 years ago? Look at Windows in that time. And this is a problem with Windows. One of the main problems with Windows, especially if you're an IT, is every single time they update their OS, they update the interface. And they change where things are, and they change where you get to things. And this is a big problem when they try to do what Apple has done and dumb it down. And they dumb it down and they hide things away. Stuff is still there, but what you could get to in, I'm going to exaggerate and say 3 clicks, in Windows 95, Windows 7, now takes like 10 or more clicks to get to, if you can find the bloody thing in Windows 11. Just looking at changing and setting manual TCP/IP settings for a wireless connection under Windows 11 is frustratingly difficult. Now in Windows 10 and older, you could always go back to the control panel, and everything was in the control panel. They hid it away, as they have done, but you could still get it. Just search for control panel, bring it up, and everything was in there. Windows 11, go into control panel, open up something, click on a link, and it takes you back to the new bloody settings page. And you don't want to be there because it's complicated. It's not easy if you're trying to actually do something slightly out of the norm. And Microsoft are doing this partially. I mean, the Windows 11 starting to look like Mac OS. Thanks very much. It works a lot more like Mac OS. Blech. And I say that mainly because I don't use Macs. I've never needed to use Macs. You can do everything on a PC that you can on a Mac. And some things are better. And PCs, if you spend the same amount on a PC as you do on a Mac, you'll have about the same number of problems as you do on a PC as you do on a Mac. So, one reason why Microsoft have made these fantastic changes is because of everything. I'm going to continue this later.